Chaos magic? What's that? Meg has some explaining to do.
Enter a world of enchantment, of enlightenment, Meg's magical mansion.
Come, whoever you are, to Meg's Magical Mansion, a virtual guest house for spiritual wayfarers, a place where the ordinary becomes magical, where wisdom is yours for the asking, and where your higher nature is just a wish away. Thanks for joining us here today at the Magical Mansion. Hey, Scallion.
Yes, Meg.
Today we have a very interesting topic. Do you know what we're talking about this week?
Chaos magic?
Ah, good job, you remembered. That's right. Today is part one of a two-part series that we're going to be doing on chaos magic. We're going to talk a little bit today about what is magic and what is chaos magic. It's not what you think, so stick around and let's find out more.
If you're somebody who watches the channel and you've ever wondered, what the heck is going on with Meg? Half the time she's talking about new thoughts, half the time she's talking about paganism and witchcraft, and let's just throw a little Buddhism on top of all of it, and why is it such an eclectic, crazy mix on this channel? The reason why is chaos magic. And we're going to talk about it today, and then you're going to understand a little bit more about why you see so many different things on my channel, and you'll probably expect to see more in the future. And we're going to be talking about probably one of the most accessible books on the topic of chaos magic. And that book is Condensed Chaos, An Introduction to Chaos Magic by Phil Hine. So in the first chapter of this book, Phil Hine talks about magic and what is magic. First of all, the world is magical. If you look around you every day, you see the wonder and beauty of nature everywhere you look, magical things happening all the time. But so what is magic? It's a doorway through which we can step into mystery. Magic is about changing your circumstances so that you can live in accordance with your developing sense of personal responsibility. And by the way, having a sense of personal responsibility is very critical in chaos magic. You can affect change around you if you choose through magic. And I have to say, I agree with Phil Hine when he says all acts of personal, collective liberation are magical acts. Magic grants us insights and understandings. So what does magic offer us? Well, in this book, the author says it's a way to disentangle yourself from the attitudes and restrictions that you were brought up with, which define the limits of what you might become. Magic offers you something way more than all of that. Magic offers you ways to examine your life, to look for, to understand, to modify your behavior, your emotional thought patterns, which hinder your learning and growth. Magic offers increasing confidence and personal charisma. Come on, magicians are sexy. It offers you a widening perception of just what is possible once you set your mind to it. It allows you to develop personal abilities, skills, and perceptions. And the more we see the world, the more we appreciate that the world is alive and we're part of it. But I think the author made a very good point in this book that one of the main purposes of magic is to have fun. Magic should be fun and exciting. And I think somewhat in a traditional sense, we think about it as being able to bring about change in accordance with our own will. So now we know what magic is, but what is chaos? Well, in our book, the author describes chaos as a state of things in which chance is supreme, an unorganized state of primordial matter before creation. In the beginning, there was chaos. It could be a confused state of mass. Matter is illusion. Solidity is illusion. We are illusion. Only chaos is real. And chaos theory has been creating controversy in the scientific community, just as chaos magic has been creating controversy in the occult world. So here are some of the core principles of chaos magic. Number 1, avoidance of dogma. Chaos magicians avoid falling into dogmatism, with one exception, as you will see a bit later on. Sometimes you might express dogmatism as part of a temporary belief system that you have entered to explore and experience. But otherwise, chaos magic tries to stay free of unnecessary dogma. Chaos magicians feel perfectly free to change their minds, contradict themselves, come up with arguments both plausible and implausible. People who love to be right are very frustrated by chaos magic, because in chaos magic we think, hey, what's wrong with being wrong? Most great inventors will tell you they learn more from their mistakes than they ever learn from their success. Next core principle is personal experience. Core belief of chaos magic is don't take my word for it, check it out for yourself. You're very much discouraged from being an armchair theorist, because once you strip away the dogma, beliefs, attitudes, and stories of a particular technique of practical magic, it can usually be described quite simply. The third core principle discussed in the book is technical excellence. One of the early misconceptions of chaos magic is that it gave practitioners carte blanche to do anything they wanted to, and that chaos magicians were sloppy in their self-assessment and analysis of their practice. But that is just not so. The chaos approach advocates rigorous self-assessment and analysis of the techniques you're experimenting with until you get the desired results. To be able to do magic, you must develop skill and ability. Now, our next core principle, I personally think, is very important. It's deconditioning. One of the primary tasks of a chaos magician is to thoroughly decondition themselves from the web of beliefs, attitudes, and fictions about themselves, society, and the world. Remember, our ego is a fiction that we carry of our quote-unquote stable self. The little ways that we push and pull at this stability of our self, our sense of self, are the things that make us feel unique or special. Deconditioning exercises can help open up our consensual reality, which can then, in turn, allow us to become less attached to our beliefs and to our ego fictions. We can then disregard these beliefs or modify them as we see fit. Using diverse approaches is another core principle of chaos magic. Traditionally, you're supposed to pick one system and stick to it, like, oh, I'm a Wiccan, or, oh, I'm a Druid, or, oh, I do high magic, or, oh, I'm into planetary magic. Chaos magic encourages an eclectic approach to development, and chaos magicians feel free to choose from any available magical systems, themes from literature, TV, through technology and the internet, religions, cults, and parapsychology. And this makes chaos magic hard to pin down as any one thing or another. And it also explains why you see all the things you see on my channel. I have literally been working on deconditioning myself. I've been also working on learning and growing by embracing a lot of diverse approaches to life philosophy, magic, whatever the universe puts in my path to study, I'm studying it. Which might explain to some of my viewers why I could do an episode on the art of go with the flow and Wu Wei one week and be doing an episode on a pagan holiday like Beltane the next week. I'm interested in all of these things and in finding the parts that resonate with me, the things I can adapt and modify to my personal practice. So get ready, we'll probably go down more crazy rabbit holes. And core principle number 6 is gnosis, the ability to be able to enter into altered states of consciousness. Willed entry into intense altered states can be derived into two kind of poles of psychological gnosis. You could do it through inhibitory states, which are passive techniques such as meditation, yoga, scrying, contemplation, sensory deprivation, or you can do it through excitatory states, things like chanting, drumming, dancing, emotional and sexual arousal. Chaos challenges the way in which we habitually experience the world. I also want to touch on the concept of fractal logic. A fractal is something that's self-similar at any scale. When you look into a fractal form, you see variations on the overall shape of the set, no matter how much you increase the scale. The deeper you look into the image, the more there is to see. And this reminds us that everything is connected to everything else in the set. This can be seen in mountains, clouds, coastlines, and the shapes of molecules and galaxies. The fractal is fast becoming a powerful metaphor for understanding and explaining our world. Consciousness itself, according to the author, has a fractal nature. We have isolated ideas that gradually make connections and form relationships between each other until the ideas form and grow, and suddenly we perceive the shape of a new idea. We expect the events of our lives to be linear and logical. Chaos theory makes the point that one single event can change all that follows in ways that have tremendous impacts on us. So, remember, the fractal is now become the icon for the idea that all things are at some level connected. Move over, Kevin Bacon. The fractal is taking over. Forget 6 degrees of separation. So, in summary, chaos theory stresses experience over learning theoretical ideas. Chaos theory points out that no one model can describe something with perfect accuracy. It's always just an approximation. It's like looking at a map is not the same as actually experiencing that territory of the map for yourself. One of the key ideas of chaos magic is the idea that nothing is true and everything is permitted. If nothing is true, then questions of proof become irrelevant and meaningless. The responsibility for your actions and your beliefs is now put back upon you. If nothing is true, then everything becomes art, play, or make-believe. You can choose your beliefs and attitudes without feeling required to validate them as truth. And the book points out that a single truth can only be maintained by ignoring everything and anything that does not conform to that single truth. You just have to ignore it. Otherwise, it will just crumble and fall apart. That's how beliefs survive, even if there's little or no evidence to support them. Chaos magic recognizes the power and malleability and pliability of beliefs, and thus uses beliefs as a tool for magical action. And here's Parfait with a special quote on just that idea.
There is no part of one's belief about oneself which cannot be modified by sufficiently powerful psychological techniques. There is nothing about oneself which cannot be taken away or changed. The proper stimuli can, if correctly applied, turn communists into fascists, saints into devils, the meek into heroes, and vice versa. There is no sovereign sanctity within ourselves which represents our real nature. There is nobody at home in the internal fortress. Everything we cherish as our ego, everything we believe in, is just what we have cobbled together out of the accident of our birth and subsequent experiences. With drugs, brainwashing, and other techniques of extreme persuasion, we can quite readily make a man a devotee of a different ideology, the patriot of a different country, or the follower of a different religion. Peter Carroll.
Thank you, Parfait. And that quote points out to me a very important part of chaos magic. You can allow other people to program your thinkings, beliefs, and attitudes. Or you can program them for yourself based on your experiences, based on your own learning, trying, failing, succeedings. You find out what works for you and believe in the things that work for you. This is one of the hallmarks of chaos magic. And this is why in the future you're going to see us going down rabbit holes and learning and trying out new things to build and develop magical skills and abilities. So if you enjoy this kind of content, stick around because I'm sure we're going to be having more of it. As a matter of fact, next episode is going to be part 2 of Chaos Magic, where we're going to talk about 2 of the main tools that many chaos magicians swear by. And those are sigils and servitors. So check back for our next episode to find out how you can manifest what you want through using sigils. And in the meantime, you can check out our previous episode on sigils. And also you can learn about creating your own psychic servants to do your will. They're called servitors. Who couldn't use a few more servants around their mansion, right? Don't miss it.
Well, I hope you learned a little bit more about magic and chaos magic. And please join us next week because we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the components of chaos magic, including sigils, which we've already done one episode on, and also making servitors. I am very lucky here in the Magical Mansion because I have Scallion and Parfait who are my servants, but in chaos magic, you can energetically create psychic servants, and they're called servitors, and they will do your bidding for you. And next week, we're going to learn all about sigils and servitors. So check back with us next week for more part 2 on chaos magic. And remember, in the words of Buddha, 1,000 candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So thank you for sharing your time and energy with us here today at the old Magical Mansion. Until next week, make sure you are living your dogma-free life.